How many more files do we have left over there? Okay.
Well, Judge, you want to ask you one clarification question?
Sure.
For that one, if council and I hadn't spoken yet, had it been already set for an MTR in the past and I'm missing it?
No,
Or,
it had not been set
okay,
because she was only recently arrested.
so she had the new violation, that's a new number one,
Mhm.
and so
And then she was arrested and placed in custody for the DWI, the alleged DWI.
the alleged.
Yes,
Right.
so it hadn't been set for a motion to revoke yet.
I got you, but it just because we had the chance to, well, I guess I hadn't talked to him today, but because we had a chance to set the bond, that's why Your Honor was like, look, next setting, it's contested no matter what, either way.
Yes.
Okay, should he and I have talked offline
Oh, no,
before? Okay.
no, you can discuss it off docket if you want to,
Okay,
but usually when there's a motion to revoke, if it's not set in the system or it's put off for 40 days, it's when are we gonna address it?
fair enough.
And I think, well, according to psychology,
Yeah.
the time where the violation happened, whatever date that is, if there's gonna be some recorrection, it needs to be as close in time as possible.
Absolutely, Judge, I'll take that. And I guess my final question, so I appreciate the heads up.
Sure.
If on the day of course, if we have an agreement, perfect. If
Mhm.
we don't, would the state be expected to call witnesses that day?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can do this. All right, thank you, Judge.
You're
I
on it.
appreciate it.
Oh, sure, you're welcome. Falls, as we get older, it's hard, right?
It is.
You know, I remember when I was living in an apartment.
Yeah.
And I was in my 20s. And so I always tell people that that thing about bees or whatever having one stinger,
Mhm.
not true. Because a bee stung me 3 times while I was walking, stung me on my hand, on the thigh, and near my knee.
Mhm.
And that hurt me so bad. And that's not the first time I've been stung by a bee.
Yeah.
You know, as a child I was like, I don't remember it being this painful. The only thing that stopped me from dropping in the parking lot was because 1, it was the parking lot, it was dirty. And 2, there was a little boy who had just been stung, probably by that same bee.
Yeah.
And he was holding it together. I'm like, Stephanie, you gotta hold it together. Do you know it took me forever to get over that bee sting?
I'm sure.
It was just like painful and falls.
I literally went to my hands and knees and
Mhm.
just went down. I crumpled when I hit my head.
Ah,
And
well,
and-
you have to protect the head though.
Believe it or not, my head, my buttocks hurt more than my head. My
Oh,
head
yeah.
hurts only when I touch it.
Mhm.
But I let them talk me into going to ER.
Oh, no,
and
you
all
have
that kind of
to.
stuff. And so anyhow,
Yeah, whenever you have the fall, I always tell people you have to go with the fall, but make sure you protect the head, but don't try to break it or anything like that. Just go with it.
well,
But I'm
it's
glad
odd.
you're okay.
It's odd. I've played soccer all my life. I never had a fall or hit the ground like that.
Oh my gosh. So did you trip over something or?
I was walking down some steps. This was last Wednesday,
Mhm.
and it was kind of during the rainstorm.
Mhm.
I was leaving a cigar shop,
Yeah, okay.
okay,
Mhm.
and the handicap ramp's going this way, and I
Ah,
look down at the end of it, and there's a puddle 2 to 3 feet wide.
Mhm.
I don't know how many inches deep, and I'm like, I'm not going to walk through
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm not going to try and jump over it because I had my brief bag
Mhm.
and something, and my umbrella and something else in my hand. And I was like, okay, I'll just go over here to the steps.
Mhm.
And so I took one step and I grabbed the handrail and my foot went.
You know what? I don't know the type of tile that they have outside. Because I fell once in front of the Riverview Towers because that tile is so slick in the rain and
Oh,
it
yeah.
went
Even if
straight
it's
down.
not raining,
Oh,
that was
yes.
slick.
And people are like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm just fine, but let me get myself together so I can slowly get up.
I gotta show you this if you
Okay.
don't mind. Yeah, and I don't want to take up any more of your
No.
time than necessary. See the handicap ramp?
Oh my God. See, you know what? I always say they never do those ramps well at all.
But they got the non-stick stuff and it's all peeling up.
Oh my gosh. And where is this exactly?
Thinks of all over on Broadway.
They never keep up with
No, nobody.
those
does.
Spaces.
Yeah.
And getting on there seems like it would be rough as well.
Yeah. I was coming down,
Mhm.
leaving,
Well, I'm so glad you did at least
Yeah,
go and get checked out
Mm.
because that's easy, concussion and everything.
yes. No, I can still feel it. Everything's reverberating through my
Mhm.
shoulders, my lumbar and hips, my neck.
It's gonna
like I
take a
said,
while. I also had a fall again in my 20s over at the old courthouse, again, raining, and you know that towel is
Oh, yeah.
slippery. And I hit my knees and I looked at my client. I said, why didn't you protect me? I'm your attorney. He's like, you were moving in slow motion when you were
Wow.
going down, so I didn't know you were actually gonna go down. I said, that's because I don't break my falls.
Yeah.
But do you know, it took about 3 months for the pain to leave my knees.
You're not encouraging me.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you can like 3 months, but hey, you're okay. You're currently alive. That's always
And,
good.
and you know, I'm 64 now. I may
Okay.
not look it, but
Yeah, well, that's a good thing not to look at.
yeah,
And you don't look at.
thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
We need
And-
you around, so be careful.
I appreciate your understanding and I will see you all on the 8th, if not sooner.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Have a great one. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Casanova, you want to come forward? Yes. Hello, how's it going?
Could be better.
All right, so my understanding, you want to represent yourself? All right, you're more than welcome to represent yourself, but here's the thing. Everybody says that they can be an attorney because all attorneys do is talk. That's what people think. But they don't realize there's a lot of knowledge, experience, and wisdom behind that.
Absolutely.
So if you want to have a jury trial where you represent yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. But once it's set for trial, it's going to trial and no one's going to be helping you. The state is not going to say, hey, we see that you really don't know the rules. So let me tell you this rule. They're not going to be doing that. My job is not going to be to help you with objections, help you with motions. That's 100% you. Do you understand?
I do. And are we on the record?
No, we're not on the record. What, you want to put something on the record?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Sure. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 2974, State of Texas Vector versus Hector Casanova. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? And are you Hector Casanova?
No, for the record, I am the flesh and breathing man. I'm here on a special appearance to clarify any misunderstanding. I am not the legal fiction known as Hector J. Casanova that is on the information there. I just have a few questions to clarify some things.
All right, so if you would like to clarify some things, then the person I need to speak to is the flesh and blood man known as Hector Casanova.
Yes, I'm the flesh and blood man, Hector Casanova Jr.
All right,
All
so
right.
you are Hector Casanova, correct?
I am Hector Casanova Jr., the flesh and breathing man.
All right, well, I'm glad you're breathing. So what did you want to place on the record?
Well, first, I don't understand the charges that are being brought against me.
Mhm.
There are some clarifications I do want to.
All right, so
bring out,
just 1 second, but before we get to that, have you been given a copy of the indictment?
No, I have not.
All right, so we're gonna get you a copy of the indictment. Just give me a moment. All right, have a seat. We're gonna come back on the record with this.
All right.
Deputy Laura, do you know if he's been served with the indictment yet?
I'm not sure.
All right, thank you. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 6650, State of Texas versus Dion Johnson. If you'll come down, can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Rolando Ruiz for the defense.
And are you Mr. Johnson? All right, Mr. Johnson, your previous attorney on this case was Mr. Hilly. Have you had contact with him?
Yeah.
All right, when?
A long time ago.
All right. So did you request another attorney be appointed to represent you?
No matter.
All right, then we'll send you back and we'll wait for Mr. Hilly.
Oh, they need to.
Now, so I want you to listen. I don't know why people are not listening to my questions. I don't know if I'm not being clear. off the record, you informed the court that Mr. Hilly, you hadn't seen him in forever. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you say that to the court or no?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to him when I first came to jail, but he ain't really say nothing.
All right, so here's what I'm asking, and I want you to listen to me carefully. The only reason why you have Mr. Arguelles as your attorney now is because you informed the court that it had been months since you last spoke to Mr. Hilly. This case was previously set. Mr. Hilly did not appear, and you were brought back for today for Mr. Hilly to appear. Am I reciting this as it occurred?
Oh, yes.
All right, so did you ask for Mr. Hilly to be replaced with another attorney?
Yes.
All right. That attorney is Mr. Arguelles. Do you have any objections to him appearing for you?
Oh,
All right, Mr. Arguelles, you were appointed
yes, Your
and
Honor.
it has not been 10 days. Are you waiving your 10 days?
We are, Your Honor. I read the offense report, Mr. Escobar.
All right. And have you had ample time to speak with Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor. I explained to him the situation. He knows that I have been appointed for less than an hour in his cause. Being that we have worked on his case, he's willing to move forward with the offer that the state has provided to him.
All right. Did you review all of the discovery with Mr. Johnson?
I reviewed what was tendered to me right now yesterday.
All right. And state, was that the entirety of the discovery?
Judge, the only thing I could think is there's hold on, I haven't had a chance to watch that.
That is correct, Your Honor. So I have what that's been tendered to me, and Mr. Johnson is aware of the situation and wants to move forward with the offer.
All right, Mr. Johnson. Are you aware that the state is stating that there are videos in your case? All right. And you understand that this council has not had a chance to view the videos? All right, do you want to proceed without your attorney viewing any video?
Yes.
All right. Did you review the true bill of indictment with Mr. Arguelles? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? All right, Mr. Johnson, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
He was, Judge, and he is.
All right. Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea, Mr. Johnson?
No.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 8 months in the state jail facility, and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled on by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
State all states to the one and all that.
No objection to purpose of the plea.
All right. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Judge, that you follow the plea agreement that we have with the state.
All right, what is his criminal history?
He has a federal detainer, which he already pled to. He got sentenced for 16 months, 3 years of supervised release for trafficking.
All right. And does anybody have that cause number?
Give me a second.
Sure. Thank you for coming, Mr. Bunk.
Great.
Yes,
2:22-CR.
wait, 2:22
Dash
Yes.
CR dash 01342 dash AM dash 1 out of the Western District of Texas in Del Rio.
All right, the court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 8 months in the state jail facility. This will run concurrent with 2:22 CR 01342 AN1. And the court will give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. You're gonna have to make better choices. How old are you?
45.
All right, you're getting close to that age where it's gonna be more your life behind you than in front of you. You're gonna have to do better, you understand?
I'm working on it.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bernice Valdez. All right, have you received all the discovery?
Yes,
Was an offer able to be tendered?
yes. It was all tendered. I'm happy with it totally. I haven't signed anything yet. I'll be glad to do that.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, Valdez, can I have a 20-day reset for plea deadline date?
The state is requesting a chance to talk to the victims. There's 4 eyeball witnesses, Judge,
Sure.
according to the file.
All right, your plea deadline date is going to be July 15th. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
You remember Kent Yates? We did him like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have a seat, ma'am.
It's a 3-day battle.
Yeah. Maria Cisneros, court is calling 2024 CR 2158, State of Texas versus Maria Cisneros. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Doug Campbell.
And are you Ms. Cisneros?
Yes, ma'am.
Cisneros? Counsel, have you received all the discovery?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review it with your client?
We have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Cisneros, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? My understanding, there are 2 cases for
Yes, Judge.
Cisneros. And Ms. Ferguson, on this, we're going to need a date for sentencing.
I can do audit date.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and the court is also calling 2024 CR 2004. Again, counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Cisneros, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each cause number, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. In each cause number, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. And the cause number ending in 5H, you're charged with aggravated assault of a security officer. The range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. And the cause number ending in 044, you're charged with retaliation. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering a plea in each of these cause numbers, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into plea agreements in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication in the cause number ending in 5-8, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to life in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication in the cause number ending in 04, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Cisneros, in each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promise you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. And each of the cause numbers, did you review the plea bargain agreement with the state
Yes, ma'am.
and with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand, according to the plea punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison? There's a $1,500 fine. The state is silent on your applications. The causes are to run concurrently. And if the court finds that a weapon was used and the cause number ended in 5-8, then the court could enter an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions? Outside the agreement, the state is asking for no contact with David Munoz and Alejandra Aguirre. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes.
Then in the cause number ending 04, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
And the cause number ending in 2158, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Case containing within exhibit 1 and attachments, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, state you may be excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And each cause number, did you review the documents entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right. In each cause number, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. And this will be called back on August 5th for sentencing. I'm going to order a PSI. Is there any other mental health or anything of that nature?
Judge, my client is taking, I forget what she told me, but it's a mood stabilizer. And I think Zyprexa, thank you. She takes Zyprexa as a mood stabilizer. I'm fairly certain that she told me before we came to court that she's got depression and bipolar, but I have a feeling with the mood stabilizer, it's something more serious. So there's.
All right, so probation, that's gonna be a PSI, a TAP evaluation and a MIC evaluation. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, they tell me it's August 8th.
August. You know, that's what I wrote down when I heard it.
All right, August 8th. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
And Matt, sure.
All right, Fred Meneses, Araceli Robles. All right, thank you. Court is calling 2022 CR 3083, State of Texas versus Araceli Robles. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Raymond Martinez.
All right. Defense is requesting a bond, is that correct?
That is your honor.
All right. This is deferred adjudication, so she's entitled to a bond. For the record, the court is aware of her prior history because she's on deferred adjudication out of this court. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Judge. It should be attached to the motion.
All right. The request is for a bond of $20,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court is going to set your bond at $20,000. Any requested conditions?
No firearm, no.
All right. You're not allowed to have possession of a firearm because you're on deferred adjudication. Do you understand? All right. Because this is an active motion to revoke, probation may not be able to see you, but you still need to check in with them. And then they will 100% let you know whether or not they need to see you in between. You understand? Yes, you're currently on probation. So when you make bond, if you're able to make bond, you still need to go to probation, just check in with them. They may end up telling you there's no need to check in because there's an active motion to revoke. Do you understand? All right, so what did I just say? What do you understand?
That just a report.
All right, I'll take that.
That's pretty close.
All right, so we need to set this for a hearing, Ms. Ferguson. This is Araceli Robles. We need to set it for a hearing. And based upon the nature of the offense with the possession of a controlled substance, state in 60 days, because I'm sure you all don't have the labs, is that correct? All right, so we'll recall it in 60 days. Yes, on this one.
And Judge, I was going to request if she could be held over for the satellite booking office for the satellite.
No, excuse me, she has a current warrant on 3083, correct? That's what I'm just setting a bond for now. So her bond is going to be set at $20,000. And what date, Ms. Ferguson?
August 26th.
August 26th? All right, August 26th will be her contested hearing date. All right, and with that, the court is going on recess.
She said she can sign the reset.
1:45. All right, so everyone, just give me a moment. All right. John Martinez, good morning. I see that. I know that he's set for the 27th, but we're here on these motions.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is his girlfriend here? Court is calling 2024 CR 4455, State of Texas versus John Anthony Martinez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Leah Alon here with Gary Barton's office representing Mr. Martinez.
And are you Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, there's a motion here to amend bond conditions. I believe that is the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon is the complaining witness, the defendant's girlfriend. All right, and I believe that she wants the no contact order lifted.
That's the state's understanding, yes.
All right, state, are you in agreement with lifting the no contact order?
We let council know that they had two separate motions, one for the GPS, one for the no harmful. We were in agreement to well, depending on the former or latter with respect to partial to monitoring, Your Honor.
Okay,
But we almost essentially, we're happy to, if the court would like our recommendation, we almost stayed silent, given we were hoping to hear from the complainant, given their presence in the courtroom today.
all
With
right,
respect-
so with regards to GPS, then the court will allow for tracking. Now, Anyone want to call the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so before you all call her, is this an issue where the complainant is going to come and say this didn't happen?
If my understanding is correct, it's not so much a reneging or taking back that something happened, so much as it's a putting forth a complainant's intent to not assist in prosecution is the state's understanding.
All right, because if she is, let's call her up. What is her name?
Her name is Shania Hernandez, Your Honor.
Shania Hernandez, come forward.
I believe she is outside of the courtroom.
Yes.
May I go get her?
Yes.
Martinez.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Shania Hernandez.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, if you are coming in to say that this did not happen, then you will need an attorney to represent you. I'm not saying that the state would file charges against you, but it is a crime to file a false police report. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, so are you coming forward to say that this did not happen? All right. Anybody wish to ask her questions?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may, could you please spell your name for the record
SHANIA
and your last name?
HERNANDEZ.
And can you describe the nature of your relationship with Mr. Martinez before the incident?
We were in a long-term relationship with a.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Sorry, we were in a long-term relationship with a kid.
And how many children do you share together?
One, boy,
And how old is your child?
2 years old.
And since the incident, have you had any contact with Mr. Martinez?
No, ma'am.
Have there been any violations of this no contact order?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any safety concerns specifically as they relate to Mr. Martinez?
No, ma'am.
And has it been challenging to avoid contact with Mr. Martinez for yourself and your son?
For my son, it's just kind of hard doing all this for myself and not having, the parent that agreed to become there.
What sort of difficulties have you experienced?
Like on weekends, I always have to find somebody to watch him because his daycare doesn't carry through on weekends. So it's always me trying to either get a family member to help or, sometimes it's hard being able to get diapers and everything, what he needs throughout. And I don't really have anybody to ask for help.
And do you have any concerns or reservations about modifying the bond conditions in this case?
No.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, I have a few, if there are no objections.
No objections from the state.
How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
And how long have you been in a relationship with him?
3 years.
All right, and how does your family feel about your relationship?
Mm,
Are they opposed to it? Were they always opposed to it, or they just now are opposed to it?
They're just not opposed to it.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you can come back. Any other evidence?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, so this is what the court is going to do. One, I'm not allowing him to have face-to-face contact with her. According to the indictment, and I don't take any of it as true. I'm just here on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, but it's alleged you pointed a firearm at her. So I will allow him, because she's saying she needs diapers, she needs this. He can call, I think they do, what is it, DoorDash or whatever they do. I know you can order at the grocery store and they will deliver it. So you can, if you want to help take care of your child, guess what? You can go online. I will not consider it a violation if you're ordering Pampers or whatever food items you want to have delivered to that home, but you're not allowed to deliver it. Do you understand?
No.
You're not allowed to have contact. If there is some sort of agreement regarding the child, I have no jurisdiction over the child. If somebody has legal documents where he can have visitation with the child, that needs to be done through a third party, not through her. So the only contact you are allowed to have with her is having groceries delivered.
Could I have my mom deliver anything to her?
Yes, your mother can deliver items to her as well. You are not allowed to have face-to-face contact with her. State, do you have any objections to him maybe having, I don't know, I guess Zoom time with his child?
No objections, Your Honor, and I think providing him any civil documentation would also help the state in the future with respect to the child, so
Okay.
absolutely, Judge.
All right, so there's to be no in-person contact with the complainant. So that means that you can have contact by Zoom. You all want to talk and you want to see the baby through Zoom, you can. But you are not allowed to go to her place of employment if she's employed. You're not allowed to go to her residence. If there's a family barbecue and she's there with her family, even if the baby's there, you're not allowed to come over. You understand? Is there anything that you do not understand about the court's instructions? All right, so there's to be no in-person contact with the complainant, and GPS is tracking only, and the court is asking that fees be waived. All right, is there anything else?
Nothing from defense.
All right, we'll see you back on June 27th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
David Vargas,
Good morning.
good morning.
How are you?
Great.
Happy early July 4th.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're on this side,
sorry.
counsel. That's okay.
So, go ahead, Zach.
Happy early July 4th to you as well. All
Yes.
right, on this case,
So, Your Honor,
today's the plea deadline date.
so we are hoping for, even if it's just a couple days or whatnot, typically when we have the outstanding CPS request, when counsel comes by to view the forensic, I'm like, hey, here's your CPS, 2 for 1, just to kind of move things along. This came a couple days after counsel had already viewed the forensic, so today is when he got his CPS records, we have everything. So even if it's only a day or two or a week or whatever you're comfortable with, Your Honor, we'd love to be on the same page discovery-wise, and then we can make an offer at the next setting.
There's been no offer at this point. We got to review these still.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, recall this for the week of July 22nd. You'll need to be prepared to tender an offer.
Absolutely, Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you, Judge.
I can do the 23rd.
All right, you'll come back on July 23rd. Once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank
Have a
you.
good holiday.
You too. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 5670, State of Texas versus Absidy Akasha, AKA SHA Rosales. Can our parties announce for the record for the state
Daniel Escobar for the state.
defense?
James,
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It is now 9:51 a.m. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
not recently.
All right. Deputy Laura, did you make an announcement for Absidy Rosales?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. She is not in the.
And the court will note for the record that the court is in receipt of a second violation report from pretrial services, which states that the defendant has not had contact with her pretrial services officer. And it states that they have called all of the collateral references that were provided and no contact. All right, state,
State would ask for bond forfeiture.
defense.
I don't have an alternative for the court right now.
All right, thank you. Bond forfeiture will be granted. The defendant will be remanded without bond. If she makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hello, what is happening with this case?
Judge, we were trying to reach out to the officer, just to set up a meeting, so we would ask for a very short reset.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on David Gonzalez, if you'll give me a 3-week reset, please.
And actually, Judge, we've taken anything shorter than that as well. I think we're going to work this out with either PTV, or maybe even perhaps a misdemeanor, so.
Probably a week, Judge, just because.
All right,
just
Ms.
because-
Ferguson, if you'll recall this in 1 week, please. And it's David Gonzalez.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, we'll come back on July 2nd. Yes, thank you. Roland Miller, counsel, you're on this side. No problem. All right, who's the prosecutor on Roland Miller? Have you conferred with the state?
I have, Your Honor, they're reviewing the case, see about making us an offer. We have received discovery. It's been uploaded. It is our first setting.
And you said they made an offer or they did
They
not?
have not, they're reviewing it for.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Roland Miller, if you'll give me a 30-day reset and state at that time, you'll need to be prepared to make an offer.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll come back on July 25th.
Thank you, Your
Once you
Honor.
sign the reset form, you're excused. Thank you.